Let's talk about the determinants of elasticity. How do we know what the elasticity is going to be? What affects how tall or fat our demand curve is going to be? Well, we have substitutes, necessity, cost relative to income, and time. These are the determinants of elasticity of demand. Let's start off by talking about substitutes. So we already said fast food is like the go-to example for elastic goods. Why is that the case? Well, there are so many substitutes. If you think about McDonald's, going there and getting a Big Mac, if the price of a Big Mac jumps to $10, would you still want to get a Big Mac? I don't know. You have a lot of other options, right? You can go to Burger King, get a Whopper, you can go to Wendy's, you can go to Taco Bell, you can go to Arby's, White Castle, you can go to Rally's, you can go to Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, you can go to Jack in the Box, there's a KFC, a Long John Silver's, right? There's all these different options for fast food. So if the McDonald's price goes up, why wouldn't I just go to one of these other places to eat, right? So that helps make sure that this Big Mac is an elastic good. If they change the price by too much, then I'll just go somewhere else and get lunch. Okay. On the flip side of that, we have Andy with his rock hammer. Okay, there really aren't any substitutes for him in jail to kind of break up these rocks and take a look at them other than this rock hammer. Okay. Next one was necessity. Right, we talked about silly hands. Are they really necessary? Not really. Right, you're paying a quarter into one of these machines to get a different colored silly hand, or you could get a different little pop thing. Right, it's not necessary. Another example would be breakfast cereal. Right. Wheaties are an example of a breakfast cereal, but there's no reason you need to eat Wheaties rather than Cheerios, right? None of these things are necessary. Okay, there's lots of different cereals that you could pick, just like the fast food, but this isn't necessary, right? You don't need to eat Wheaties for breakfast. You can choose lots of different cereals. On the flip side of that, we have the EpiPen, right? You might need this to survive, okay? So it's very necessary to live, and that's what causes this good to be inelastic. Next, we have cost relative to income, right? So if something costs very little, right, think of a grain of salt. If the price of a grain of salt is 1 penny and it goes up to 2 pennies, it's just doubled in price. Do you really care? Or are you going to shop around and make sure you get the best deal, right? Or if we think about a whole salt shaker, right? The price of a whole salt shaker is like 75 cents, right? Or you can get the pack of salt and pepper shakers together. And I think that's $1.50 last time I bought one, right? So I don't even know the price because it's not that important, right? It's only $1.50. So I'm not going to be that sensitive when the price goes from $1.50 to $2 for the little pack of salt and pepper shakers. I'm not really going to notice. But if I'm thinking about taking a vacation, right? My wife and I are going to go on our honeymoon. We're going to shop that around. Okay? We're going to be spending like $3,000 on this trip. So if it goes from $3,000 to $4,000, that's a big change for me. So that's a big change relative to my income. And I'm going to be wanting to know and shop that around, and that's going to make this good more inelastic. Okay? So the more expensive something is, the tendency to be more inelastic that will be. And the last thing for determinants of elasticity of demand is time. There's a really good example of time influencing the elasticity of demand from The Office, where we take a look at Dwight Schrute and Princess Unicorns. We've seen Dwight Schrute, who is the master of elasticity of demand. He knows that there are 4 determinants of demand, and 2 of those have been satisfied to make this demand curve inelastic. Right? There aren't any substitutes. These people's daughters are going to accept as gifts instead of Princess Unicorn. That's what they want for Christmas. That's what they've asked for. There is no substitute good, and there is no time for these people to shop around and look for the good anywhere else. It's getting close to Christmas. They're all sold out everywhere around Scranton. So there's nowhere else to buy Princess Unicorn. So everybody has to come to Dwight, and the demand for these goods are very inelastic, so we can charge a really high price. Fa la 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 ka-ching. So just to recap, we had 4 determinants of elasticity of demand. We had substitutes, necessity, cost relative to income, and time.